Have you ever pondered how a tiny deed could have a profound impact on your life and the lives of others? Well, today we are going to delve into this very idea. In Islam, there is a beautiful concept called sadaqah jariyah, which loosely translates to continuous charity. But it's not just about monetary contributions, it encompasses a broad range of actions, even the smallest of deeds. Consider this: a kind word, a smile, or even a simple act of helping someone cross the street. These are all forms of sadaqah jariyah. These actions, though small, can ripple outwards, touching lives and creating a cycle of goodness that continues even after we are gone. They are like pebbles thrown into a pond, their impact echoing far beyond the initial splash. So, let's not underestimate the power of small deeds. They can indeed hold immense significance. Remember, in Islam, no act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. Imagine a woman living in poverty with only 2 date fruits to her name. This was her sustenance, her food for the day, her only means of survival. But amid her hardship, she held on to the belief that the smallest act of kindness can bring the greatest rewards. The woman was not wealthy, not in material wealth, but she was rich in spirit. She knew the value of giving and understood that charity does not deplete wealth. On the contrary, it enriches the soul. And so, she decided to share one of her date fruits with someone in need. One day, a beggar approached her, his stomach growling in hunger. He had not eaten in days and was desperate for anything to eat. The woman, putting herself in his shoes, felt his hunger and his desperation. She knew what it was like to have an empty stomach, to feel the gnawing pain of hunger. She looked at the 2 date fruits in her hand, her only possession, her only meal for the day. She could have easily turned the beggar away, justified in her own need, but she didn't. She chose to share. She gave him one of her date fruits, a small act of kindness that meant the world to the beggar. Now you might wonder, why is this story significant? It's because this simple act of giving, of sharing what little she had, is a powerful illustration of the Islamic teaching that even the smallest act of charity can be greatly rewarding. It's about the spirit of giving, of sharing, of caring for others, even when you have very little to give. This woman, in her poverty, understood that every act of charity is a step towards a better world. She knew that her small act of kindness could make a big difference, and it did. Her generosity fed a hungry man, and more importantly, it showed him the power of kindness and compassion. Even with her limited resources, she made a significant impact. Her small deed of charity was indeed a great act in the eyes of Allah. Picture a parched dog wandering desperately in search of water. Now let's spin a tale from the annals of Islamic tradition that emphasizes the significance of small deeds. This tale is about a man and a thirsty dog, a simple narrative that carries a profound moral message. In the scorching heat of a desert, a dog was wandering, panting heavily, its tongue lolling out in thirst. It was a sight that tugged at the heartstrings, a creature of God in dire need of mercy. Enter our protagonist, an ordinary man, who happened upon this distressed dog. He saw the dog's plight, its desperate attempts to find a drop of water to quench its thirst. The man felt a surge of compassion. He didn't have any water with him, but he knew he couldn't turn a blind eye to the suffering creature. Nearby, there was a well. However, the man had no vessel to draw water. But he didn't let this obstacle deter him. He took off his leather shoe, descended into the well, filled it with water, and climbed back up. He then offered the shoe filled with life-saving water to the parched dog. The dog lapped up the water eagerly, its tail wagging in gratitude. Our man had quenched the dog's thirst, saving it from a possible death in the cruel desert heat. It was a small act of kindness, but it had a monumental impact. This tale, as narrated in the Hadith, tells us that God was so pleased with this man's act of mercy that he forgave his past mistakes and granted him paradise. The man, who may have been considered ordinary or even sinful by societal standards, earned divine favor through a single act of kindness. So what does this tale teach us? It's a reminder that in Islam, no act of kindness, however small, goes unnoticed. It underscores the power of mercy, compassion, and empathy, virtues greatly valued in Islam. This man's little act of kindness had a profound impact, securing him a place in paradise. Remember, every small deed counts, and the ripple effects of our actions can reach farther than we ever imagine. You see, small deeds hold great importance in Islam. Throughout the course of this discussion, we've journeyed through powerful narratives and insightful anecdotes that underscore the significance of small deeds in Islam. The stories we've shared illuminate the profound truth that even the simplest actions, when performed with sincerity and pure intention, can have an enormous impact. Let's revisit the story of the date fruit. A single piece of fruit, given with genuine kindness, had the power to tip the scale of good deeds in favor of a woman. It wasn't an extravagant gift or a grand gesture, but a small act of charity that held great weight in the eyes of the Almighty. Similarly, the tale of the thirsty dog teaches us that compassion towards all of God's creatures, no matter how insignificant they may seem, is highly valued in Islam. The woman in the story quenched a dog's thirst, a seemingly small act, yet it was her ticket to paradise. These stories are not just tales of the past, but lessons for us all. They serve as reminders that every action, no matter how small, can have a ripple effect. A kind word here, a simple act of help there. They all add up, creating a wave of goodness that can change lives. In Islam, it's not the magnitude of the deed that matters, but the heart with which it is done. The smallest act of kindness, when done sincerely for the sake of Allah, is more valuable than the grandest deed performed for the sake of show. Remember, even the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Do not belittle any good deed, even meeting your brother with a cheerful face." This is a testament to the fact that in Islam, no good deed, however small, is insignificant. In the end, it's not about the size of the deed, but the sincerity and intention behind it. Always remember, every small deed counts in Islam.